What's up in your world? It is Sunday. Sunday. S-U-N. Or some people want to put S-O-N. We don't really know what day God really started on, and I don't think man knows either. You know, some people worship on Saturday, some do Friday. So something happened. Okay, that's all we worry about. Something happened. So today is July the 30th. We got one more day with July. Happy July. And it will be August on Tuesday. Yeah, because Monday is the 31st. And then we're ready for Happy August. And we'll be 4 months away from Christmas for your unique happiness. But my life is always exciting. It has always been that way, which I'm kind of glad. But, you know, if you're trying to relax and not have exciting moments, it doesn't seem to happen. You know, God just does, boop, here you go. Take it, Cashberry Mama, and roll with it. And so I roll with it. Kind of exciting, keeps my life going. So anyway, we went to see Barbie. My kids had seen it the day before or 2 days before with their friends. They went to go see it. And then our family decided to go. My grandmother and everybody wanted to go. I'd seen the trailer when it came out. I kind of wanted to go. And then I was just going to wait till it came on TV. And then they decided to go. I think they wanted to take us out because we were paying their bills. So the grandparents paid for the tickets for everybody. And had a good time, you know, had food and more food. Some people were eating and chewing and walking to the concessions. And we went to a drive-in to see it, which at night. So that was nice. And I was messaging some people before it started on here. I was trying to listen to some videos because I didn't have a chance. I don't have to work as hard because we did hire some people. So they are taking over most of the night shift. So we're doing good. We're just hanging on in there. But what happened was we went to Kroger's before we went. And to pick up some few items to make sure they're stashed in the vans and the cars that we took, because we hadn't been to that particular drive-in in years. You know, I don't remember. I think it was before COVID that we had went, so I didn't know how the setup was or anything of food, and I was sure they had food, but it was like, you know, maybe we need to throw something in the car, and if not, we'll just leave it back there and don't use it, and we'll buy from them. So we had stopped at Kroger's, and my grandfather went in with me, and my dad and my mom and everybody else was in the car, and came out, checked out, talked to everybody, bye, see you later, all that stuff. Came out, and there were two guys in the front of us, and all of a sudden we hear one of the checkout people hollering, screaming, "Come back here." Well, we thought it was us, and we're going, "Didn't we pay?" "Yeah, we paid. What are you doing?" And she said, "No, the guy up there." So there's two guys in the front of us, and we're going, "Which one?" You know, they stole. "Come back here. They stole the food," you know. And they both had little small carts like we did. And then with her saying they, and we're trying to figure it out, and then my grandfather is pointing, "This one or this one?" You know, give me some cues here, you know. And she was going, "That one right there near you in front," you know, because he had come between trying to get out, you know, between me and the other guy. And so I was pushing the cart. And then my grandfather takes the cart from me. He grabs the cart and he shoves it at this guy. I mean, the guy's maybe about not that far, like hand length away by then. He wasn't trying to walk real fast so that you wouldn't notice him. And of all times, the police weren't out there. Usually they sit there all the time. There's at least one police officer at the stores. And he just took my cart and shoved it back of the guy, and the guy wasn't expecting it. And I see other people, our families are in the cars, okay? They're at like strategic points around this place. They can see us coming out, and the cars started rolling, coming out very slowly, like, what's going on over there? Something's happening. And the guy was going, "Ow," let go of the cart. My grandfather toddles over there, grabs the cart, and pushes it back toward the lady, and then he says, okay, let's go. And I'm sitting there, I was like, okay, just keep going, because everybody kind of rolled up a little bit, and they're looking, and they're at us like, do we need to get out the car? Do we need to come out there? So my grandfather was quite happy that he saved the day. I was glad nothing else happened. We got through that going on, but my life is exciting. But, that's because people don't prepare. You have to be prepared. That man is not prepared. He probably didn't have any money, because that small cart just to get food and to steal it, he wasn't prepared. You have to be prepared for any storm. We got a lot of storms brewing, okay? You got budgeting storms. You have storms with your kids. You have storms with your husband or wife. You have to prepare, and you see the storm, but you didn't prepare for it. Okay, you see if you're having a dispute with your husband or your wife, and you keep pushing it back and you keep pushing it back, and then it becomes a full-blown tornado or hurricane because you weren't prepared. You weren't trying to strategically fit, what if this happens? Maybe we need to talk about this or this, with budgeting, same thing. If you don't prepare, you're not ready. The front of my house, we had, I wouldn't even call it a storm. All we saw was some lightning. We didn't hear the wind or nothing. And in front of my house, I have wood siding on the front and brick. And then it's brick all the way around. So the wood siding, the guy that built this house before I got here, I found out he had built the house next door. He didn't do a very good job of it. And the other houses were built by another builder, and he had come in here and bought up the land because the builder was done building, And so he bought up all the land, built these two houses, and, sold them. And then, he was renting it out, and then he lost at auction during the pandemic. No renters, right? Nobody's renting. And so he lost the houses, and that's how I got mine, because it was at the auction. And foreclosed on him. And they were coming over, the neighbors. Our neighborhood is filled with a lot of retired people who own businesses. We have a fencing company. We have, automotive. We've got, window people and all that. And so I didn't pay any attention. The only thing I paid attention to, I was backing out, and my car was going beep, 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 beep. Something's behind me. I'm looking in my rearview mirror and looked in the camera, and I saw this wood or something laying on the ground, stopped, went out, and it was the front of the siding on my house. Had just came off and just laid there, And so immediately when I got it, I just picked it up. We put it in the garage because we were getting ready to go somewhere. And another one had flew in front of my front door. I went over and picked it up. It was a smaller piece. And I said, okay, I'll call somebody when I get back. And my neighbor across the street, he had just come out the door, but he had been out. I knew he had been out because, they get up early. The older people also like to get up, and they sit on their porch and they walk and da-da-dee. And he said, oh, I saw that. I'm going to fix that. I'm going to do that. And I said, well, how much do you want, for it, to fix it? And what do you need? Is there anything you need to fix it? He said, oh, no, I got it. And I said, well, I'll pay for the supplies. I pay for the supplies. He says, either way, or I'll just do it. They're just so happy to do stuff around here, that they were just going. So then another neighbor had seen it, and so they decided to collab together. It's back up there, but I'm not going to leave them hanging. I said I'm going to go get a gift or something, but you have to be prepared for that. I was prepared to pay somebody to do it. You got to be prepared for the storm. This cash stuffing, last year this time, I wouldn't have been prepared. So you have to be prepared for any storm in your life. Okay, anything that you're doing, that's what we're doing. We're preparing for what may not happen or may happen. You just keep building that money up, keep building that fund. I think a lot of people, we wouldn't need a lot of insurances that we have. If we had just started saving, we could have just paid off. If you're having a funeral, pay it off. But I know some people want to leave wealth, generational wealth to their family, which is fine. But could you have taken your money and put it into stocks and savings or something and probably even got more than you paying, hundreds of dollars a month for, insurance, and still you can't do anything. You're gone with it. So it's kind of iffy on that. But if you want to build generational wealth, I think it's a great thing to have. But if you're not interested in that and you think you can do more some other way, do it some other way. So be prepared for any storm. Okay, be prepared for the roadblocks. God didn't leave everything to be here easy. Okay? A song I used to sing, if God gave us everything, we wouldn't have a need to pray. And a lot of you wouldn't. You would stop right now and you will tell me right now, oh yeah, no, Casper Mama, I would be praying every day. There's people out there, they will stop. Remember Jesus and Peter was going to deny Jesus 3 times, and Peter went, no. And I hope I got that right, okay, the story, but correct me down there if I'm wrong. But he denied him 3 times, denied that he knew him. So we can't say no what we won't do, some people. I wouldn't do it. I'm just not going to deny you because you won't do any, I don't need to say anything to you or think I don't need you and you're just up there. I'm not doing that. But there are people, they will do that. I mean, watch people now, what they do. And you're just looking at them in amazement, what's going on? Like, what are you doing? You're not following, some of them say they're Christians. That's not Christian like what you're doing. What are you doing? I would love to be, when the world's ending and you're in that little line standing there, I keep telling God, please let me be in the front so I can hear what's going on. Because these people, you got to explain yourself. It may not work. It may not work. You got to explain yourself, what you did to people, how you did it, why did you do it. Okay, he's got all time in the world. You're going to be there talking. So, get yourself together. It's not, I don't mistreat anybody or anything, but you run into these roadblocks, and I just stand and look at people. I had a professor, I remember the first day that I started college, and it was my first class, and we went in there, and the professor said, if you are Native American, Black, if you're just not white, you're going to get a B in my class because your brain cannot understand what I'm talking about. The highest grade you'll get is a B. Now, the white people will get an A. We were just sitting there. Nobody moved. I kind of looked out the corner of my eye. People were just like, what? What did he say? I mean, it was like 30 of us in class, When we got out of there, they didn't care what color you were, white, black. They were like, everybody was in shock. They were going, did you hear that? Did you? And we know we heard it. It was just like, did you hear that? And so I was talking to my advisor, and I said, he said this, and he said, what? The advisor was just like, what are you, really? But they didn't do anything about it. He was there and, got to the end of class, and I made sure I aced that class. Okay, couldn't stand the class. It was a psychology class, introduction to psychology, which I did not need anyway, but we had to take it. They put in college, they give you these courses that you don't need. That's why to me, college is useless. It really is. Everything I learned, even teaching, I learned teaching. I did not learn at college. I did not need to go to college to teach. I didn't learn a blessed thing at college to teach, because when you get to teach, what do? You got your books already there. You go through it, blah, 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 blah. It was, I didn't need to go. And I aced this test. I just aced where you don't have a reason not to give me an A. And so I told my advisor, I said, if I get anything lower, because I would copy and give him a copy, and I told my parents, I'm giving you a copy, and he tried his best. He actually, when the last day, whatever, after I finished my exam, and the test came, and the transcripts, whatever, grades came, and he had put a B on there. Now, I had copies of everything. So I told my parents, I'm going over here and I'm going to talk to the dean, show him all these papers we kept, because we didn't say anything to anybody. We just kept real silent about it. And I went in to the dean, showed him the papers, and the dean said, you passed everything. You got copies of everything. And he said, I'll change the grade, because he said that's not right. And he says, I'm going to have a talk with him. And because we hadn't said anything, and he was really upset. And he changed the grade. This guy tried to change, that grade kept flipping back and forth. And my advisor said, you should see it. He showed me on the computer. He said, look at him flip it back. Look, this day he flipped it to a B. Then the dean flipped it to an A. Then he flipped it back to a and flipped it back to an A until he got to him and I guess told him, stop it. You need to retire and go home. Stop. But you got to prepare. That was a storm for me, because I hadn't really been in racism type thing where people would do stuff like that. And I was like, I wasn't ready. But I did get ready. Immediately I was like, okay, this isn't working. Somebody's got to do something to get this together, because I'm thinking there's somebody else probably they just gave up and went on, took the B. Like, who cares? You have to watch people. You got to be prepared for that storm. You got to be prepared for other things. You got to be prepared for your kids. I always listen to my kids about if they were hurting, even little kids. My pastor's daughter kept saying her stomach was hurting, and she was 2 years old. And the mom kept saying, oh, nothing's wrong with her. This was at another church and I was at before. And I kept saying, it could be. Why don't you take her to the doctor? Oh, nothing's wrong with her. Nothing's wrong with her. The girl had stomach cancer and passed away. Didn't pay attention. She's 2 years old. I remember my mom had said something. I don't know, somebody was talking about their child was hurting or something, or had a headache or something. And I remember my mom saying, she doesn't know how that child is feeling and need to take that child to the doctor. I heard her fussing about it with my dad. And they hurt too. Kids hurt too. And I remember when my son was in the hospital, after I gave birth, he was in the NICU and NICU, intensive care, neonatal. And I was sitting there and they were getting ready to, I guess, operate on a child or something type thing. And they would come into the room to do it, in the kneel. And we were sitting there, and so I said, well, I'll leave while they're over there doing that, And the nurse said, yeah. She says, what gets me at the time, now I don't know if it's still going, but see, people don't know about this stuff. She said, they don't give the babies anesthesia. And I was like, what? They're operating on the baby and they don't give anesthesia? Because they said they think they won't remember it anyway. Really? And I'm wondering now, I'm not a nurse or a doctor, but sometimes I sit there and I'm sitting there thinking, I wonder, do they do that? And who can I ask? to see here. Are you still doing that? You know, but that's scary. It's just really scary. But get your storm straightened out. There's a storm coming, and if you haven't got your finances straight, or you haven't prepared your finances, like I told you, prepare for the year and see, what am I going to pay off? You know, we don't need to be cash stuffing forever. You can do something else on this channel besides cash stuff, okay? Some of you got wonderful talents, or you can do this and that. You know, prepare yourself. What am I going to do? Okay, what am I doing now? You know, where's the money coming from? Where's it going? You know, some of you got to prepare for school. It's August. You might as well say it's August. Some of you are going back tomorrow already. And we got to prepare. Like, you got to prepare your classroom if you're a teacher. You got to prepare the kids to go. You have to prepare yourself. You know, some people have lost spouses. They got to prepare themselves for being alone most of the time, maybe, or moving, or whatever they want to do, or changing their life up. So be prepared. So I'm going to quit talking because I haven't did anything I was going to do. That loan. Remember the loan? The HELOC. I paid it off. And I took the money out of my challenges. That's what I decided to do. Because instead of going into my open-ended loan that I have, and over my house, I could have went in there and borrowed money, so I just didn't even bother to do it. I was like, I'm not doing that. So let me hurry up so you can go on your way. 960-331-165-1070. 725, and I need to take this money out of there anyway. I said cash again. So we had 4206, and the HELOC went up again right there. It went up 3984. Remember yesterday it was 3964 and 36 cents. Then today it went up overnight again, 3984 and 4 cents. So I pushed the button and had put this money in the bank. Push the button, and it is done, ladies and gentlemen. So we are finished with the HELOC. Yes, we are. And we are happy. And so I will start my next adventure with Wally the cow. And so those two things are paid off, and I haven't decided what I'm going to do next. It's somewhere between these right here. So somebody, and these are still my grandparents. Verizon's mine. Access to the hospital, the car, and the house. So I may do these other two with my grandparents. So I am finished, and I am leaving, enjoying the sunshine for a moment. Still got to work today, but it's all right. And while I was telling you the story about the Kroger guy stealing, what was your first mind of? Was the guy, what color did you think the guy was? What race? Okay. And if it was what you thought it was, I don't know if you've seen Avenue Q. I don't know if it's on YouTube, you know, where it says everybody's a little bit racist. What color popped in your mind? Did you say it's probably black? He's probably white. He's probably blah, 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 whatever. He was white. So did you guess right? And is it part of your, I guess, psyche that you keep thinking certain people do certain things? Think about it. Take care. I love you all. Bye-bye.